I know it's sad that summer is coming to an end, but that gives us an opportunity to reach for some really interesting fall fragrances. The transition from warm weather to cool weather allows you to experiment with your fragrances and wear some pretty cool stuff. And I got some pretty cool stuff for y'all today. My number 10 fall niche fragrance is TABAROME MILLESIME by Creed. TABAROME MILLESIME is a fragrance that doesn't get talked about a whole lot because not a lot of people like it, or at least not enough people try it, which means it doesn't get the exposure I think it deserves. TABAROME is a typical fall fragrance because it has a gingery freshness that suits warm weather really well, but it has the cool weather aspect with the fresh use of tobacco. Those two notes bridge the gap between summer and winter. The reason I have it on number 10 is because it is an unusual composition. It's not something that we're all used to, which is good, but for the mass market, it's not that good. Still worth checking out. Amazing performance on this one. Number 10, TABAROME MILLESIME. My number 9 niche fall fragrance is DUELLE EDP by DIPTYQUE. I'm not shy in saying that this is probably my favorite vanilla fragrance to wear. You'll notice that this DIPTYQUE bottle has the black cap and the black rim and the black label. That means it's an eau de parfum concentration. Parfum, not perfume. Or maybe it is perfume, whatever. In the DIPTYQUE line, I tend to feel that the EDTs are a little more feminine leaning, while the EDPs are a little more rich and masculine leaning. There's still a lot of unisex in between. DUELLE has that combination that I love. It's vanilla balanced with citrus. The freshness off the opening is very masculine, balanced with a beautiful ambery vanilla development that is so addictive and very seductive too. Like a lot of the fragrances on this list, there are notes from both warm and cold weather fragrances combined, which is perfect for a transition season like fall. I have it at number 9 because for a guy, vanilla is sometimes a difficult note to wear on the regular. Number 9, DUELLE EDP. My number 8 niche fall fragrance is the first AMOUAGE on this list, Diamant. Yet another fragrance that doesn't get talked about. Diamant is an AMOUAGE that is overshadowed by its more popular, better looking brother. But in the fall time, I tend to gravitate towards fragrances that have a green quality. While spring green notes represent blossoming, fall green notes represent hibernation. The blooming flowers are starting to become one with the earth. And that's what this fragrance has. It has an earthiness. It is a vetiver-based fragrance through and through, except for the fact that it's also a peony-based fragrance. Peony is a Japanese flower. The only reason I have it at number 8 is because of the projection. Diamant doesn't have great projection. It is a subtle fragrance. It has enough nuance that it's definitely worth checking out. Probably more suited for indoor environments only. And that was Diamant. At number 7, we have Woody Style by Arabian Oud. Arabian Oud is a Middle Eastern fragrance house that puts out some monster performing fragrances that are of a very high quality and comparatively have a pretty reasonable price as well. While not quite as popular as Kalimat and Kalimat Black, the Woody series is perhaps a little more westernized than the latter. To my nose, Woody Style is the most wearable of the 3 variations. It is very woody, but even though this is one of the most strong fragrances in my collection, it doesn't have a typical oud stank about it. It's not headache inducing. In fact, it's rather smooth. Even though oud is one of the main notes in here, I almost interpret this fragrance as a Middle Eastern sandalwood. It's very smooth, which is a characteristic of sandalwood. And believe it or not, it is a compliment getter too, even in the Western hemisphere. I only have Woody Style at number 7 simply because the performance on this makes it less versatile. It has a nuclear projection. You can dab the atomizer and then put it behind your ears and you'll be good for the day. So for a guy that's used to YSL L'Homme, just spraying it all over your body, you can't do that with this. At number 7, Woody Style. Sadly, just missing the top 5 is the second AMOUAGE on this list. At number 6, Beloved Man. I love wearing Beloved Man in the fall. While a lot of AMOUAGE fragrances are incense-based, Beloved Man is a really resinous, semi-spicy woody fragrance. The opening has a beautiful blast of lemon, which is very good for the fall weather because you will have those warmer fall days. But quickly it becomes about elemi resin and saffron. Very aromatic and also multi-dimensional. Beloved Man has one of the cooler openings of AMOUAGE. The really cool, interesting, vibrant opening represents the beginning of fall, but the dry down does a very good job at representing the end of the fall. With cedar wood and a spicy cardamom, the lifespan really reflects the season. season. Yet another AMOUAGE that gets overlooked, but really shouldn't, especially in this time of the year. It is a very, very nice fragrance. It's just that my top 5, they're all bangers. Number 6, Beloved Man. My number 5 fragrance on this list is Royal Oud by Creed. Comparatively speaking, Royal Oud is probably the heaviest Creed fragrance, especially in the standard bottle line. It's Creed's take on agarwood, which isn't a very Middle Eastern take on it at all. It's pretty Western and honestly very wearable. Even though this is one of the darkest Creeds, it's still a lot lighter than a lot of fragrances. Dominated by cedarwood and a bit of sandalwood, a touch of oud, some bergamot. Royal Oud is undoubtedly spicy and woody, but it still has brightness. It still has the Creed ambergris, which gives it a saltiness that is really, really representative of warmer weather. When a fragrance is a bit saltier, it kind of makes me think of me sweating, and I don't sweat in the cold, I sweat when it's warm out. Royal Oud is a fragrance that I feel is a little more versatile than people think it is. Because it has royal in the name and it's very expensive, that doesn't mean you can only wear it on formal occasions. You can wear it casually quite easily. In fact, I almost exclusively wear this casually. But the reason it's at number 5 is because my top 4 have a little more versatility and I can wear them whenever. At number 5, Royal Oud. My number 4 fall niche fragrance is Sacred Wood by KILIAN. I've spoken about Sacred Wood before. It is a very simple fragrance. If you're familiar with what sandalwood smells like, or you've tried a lot of sandalwood-based fragrances, you'll kind of know what this smells like, because it's just sandalwood. Sandalwood and a milky, creamy accord, which complements the creamy nature of sandalwood. There's a lot of things I like about Sacred Wood. The performance is amazing, it's surprisingly versatile, and surprisingly complex, considering it's just basically one note. That sandalwood note really goes through a few changes while you wear this fragrance. Starts off a bit sharp, almost closer to a cedar wood, but then the milkiness starts to come in and it becomes creamy, and it sweetens up a little bit on your skin. It's truly a joy to wear. And it's not quite as polarizing as Le Labo's take on sandalwood. No offense. The reason I have this guy at number 4 is because of the availability and the price. For 50 mils, this is pretty expensive, and it seems like it's getting harder and harder to find. So you'll be better off with my top 3, which are serious bangers. Number 4, Sacred Wood. My number 3 fall niche fragrance is LAYTON by Parfums de Marly. I love LAYTON, y'all. Apple, vanilla, cardamom, sandalwood. It is a dream of a fragrance. Really sweet, but still has some freshness with the apple. One of the perfect fragrances to wear in the fall. What I love about LAYTON is it has the likability of a mass market designer fragrance, but the complexity of a niche fragrance. The common complaint about LAYTON is that it's too much like a designer fragrance, which I don't really see as a complaint, because that just means that a lot of people are going to like it. So it's made like a niche fragrance, but it delivers like a designer fragrance. Considering how sweet it is very versatile. Anytime you would wear Versace Eros, you could wear LAYTON. Anytime you'd wear Boss Bottled, you can wear LAYTON. Anytime you'd wear Allure Homme Sport Eau Extrême, you can wear LAYTON. The only reason I have it at number 3, however, is it is a very sweet fragrance. So it is only for the sweet tooths out there. If you like really woody, overly masculine fragrances, this may not be the one for you. You may opt for LAYTON Exclusive. LAYTON just may be a little bit juvenile for the more mature fragrance peeps out there. Number 3, LAYTON. My number 2 niche fragrance for the fall is GINEPRO de Sardegna. This fragrance is a borderline masterpiece. And what's amazing about it is, even though it's part of the Blue Mediterranean line, a line that's dominated by citruses and light, fresh fragrances, GINEPRO de Sardegna focuses on the note of juniper. Not juniper berries per se, but actual juniper. Believe it or not, this fragrance has quite a bit of freshness, even though it's comprised almost solely of woody notes and spicy accords. Juniper, cedar, cypress. There's a lot of green notes in here, which I do love in the fall and the spring, but it's the nutmeg and the allspice and the cinnamon almost that push it towards the cooler weather or the fall. If the Blue Mediterranean line had a temperature spectrum, this one will be on the cooler side, which is perfect for the fall. And it's those substantial green woody notes that give this great performance too. It really performs marvelously. Definitely will last you the entire day. Could even carry you into the evening as well. But it just misses the number 1 spot because my number 1 is pretty much untouchable in the fall. At number 2, GINEPRO de Sardegna. And my number 1 niche fragrance for the fall, y'all, from the house of AMOUAGE, Memoir Man. Don't get me wrong, I love Imitation Man. It's an amazing fragrance, but Memoir Man is the one fragrance that I save. I save the entire year just so I can wear it in the fall, and it is breathtaking. Memoir Man does have the AMOUAGE signature incense, but really it's more so about wormwood and mint, and even a little bit of tobacco and leather. Quite simply put, it is a really, really nice, masculine, smoky, green, woody fragrance. Not that simple, but to my nose, it is fall in a bottle. It's not just a smoky, woody fragrance that you would maybe wear in the winter. It still has life to it. It still has those green qualities, which means there's still leaves on the trees, but perhaps they're just starting to fall. It's cold enough that you might want to have a bit of a campfire or bonfire, which is that incense. It is just such a marvelous fragrance, and it's so well done. And the performance is incredible, which is another big plus. Amazing longevity and modest projection. It'll stay within a good arm's length for many hours, but you won't smell it across the room, which is a good thing. Although I can't even call this my favorite AMOUAGE fragrance anymore, at least. But I can easily say that in the fall time, my number one is Memoir Man. So there you have it, niche snobs. 10 of my favorite fall fragrances in my collection that happen to be niche. You may have noticed that there are some houses that I favor over others, and I will say that I do have a bias towards AMOUAGE, Creed, Parfums de Marly, and ACQUA de Parma. You will also notice that I didn't have any Xerjoffs on this list, and that's because I tend to wear Xerjoff in the summer and the winter, not necessarily in between. What are your favorite niche fall fragrances? Let me know, because I want to know what your opinion is. Here's mine. You got your own. Crazy, right? 3 AMOUAGEs. I didn't even put Imitation Man on here. Anyways, if you want to see some more top 10s, you can click this button here. And if you missed my designer fall list, it's right there. And there's some other stuff down there, including a subscribe button. Peace.